when we look into it, in Australia, there are only three ways you can get permanent residency. One is through skill migration, another one is through marrying an Australian, and third way is if you have a lot of money. So hypothetically, I'm thinking currently you don't have a lot of money, that's why you're listening to my bullshit. So we concentrate on the first two things, the skill migration and getting married. Now, let's again start with skill migration. Getting married is pretty straightforward, isn't it? Generally speaking, if you're a good-looking woman, you will be able to find a man. Young and good-looking women are able to find a man. That's usually the criteria. There's hardly, it's not Australian women who marry foreigners. It's the Australian men who become permanent resident citizen, they marry foreigners. Now coming back to skill migration. Now, anybody, it's very simple. If you go in all the numbers and all the jargons, it will take you years to understand this. But take everything off. There are some fundamentals. If somebody is going to get permanent residency through skill migration, the first thing is, of course, there is an occupation list. There is a medium to long-term occupation list. If you guys want to write down, you can write it down now. And there is a short-term occupation list. Now, even before, so once you know what your occupation is, and it's not the qualification, it's actually the occupation which is going to get you PR. So once you know your occupation list is, what occupation is, depending upon it is on which occupation list. If your occupation is on medium to long-term occupation list, you can get permanent residency through skill migration in Australia anywhere you like to, as long as you meet all the criteria. Now, if your occupation is not on the medium, and this is every time, you write down with this sequence. So when a client or a customer gives us a call, you will ask them questions in this sequence. And I'll tell you what, if you're going to ask these questions from the clients in this sequence, your life will be easier, you'll understand things in much better way, and your client will also understand things in much better way. Okay. Now, if the occupation is not on medium to long-term list, and if the occupation is on short-term list, so basically, in nutshell, they cannot get their permanent residency in Sydney, in Brisbane, and in Melbourne. Now, when I say they cannot get their permanent residency, what I mean to say is they are not independent. Hypothetically, if they can get an invite for 190 from the state governments, depending upon every state has their different requirements. Every state has their own requirement for 190, under which a state can invite somebody, but that particular person or a client is so much dependent upon the state. And again, generally speaking, from understanding point of view, if we use our common sense, it would be highly unlikely to get the invite. So, simple. If your occupation is on a short-term list, then you should be living in a regional area. What is regional area? The definition of regional area is very simple, very straightforward. Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, cut. Everything else is regional across Australia. So simple. Now, if you understand this, okay, you will know right question what to ask from the client. And end of the day, how far, this is as simple as it could be. So now this is you identify first. Alright? And whenever, don't connect things with the occupation. Connect things with the occupation and then look at the qualifications and everything else and the work experience. Because again, if somebody wants to get skill migration, what's the minimum requirement? They should have a positive skill assessment in a relevant occupation. They should have probably work experience in that relevant occupation. They should be under 45 and they should at least able to get 6 each in English. That's the minimum requirement. And of course, then there are a lot of other factors, but this is the baseline. If someone can have this, then probably they can have permanent residency in Australia if they play their cards correctly. Alright? So once we have established this, then what you look into it is, okay, now every occupation, so it's ENSO ESCO, that's the government body which defines occupation in Australia. So every occupation has a definition, and that definition is basically, what are the job duties and responsibilities of that particular occupation. That's one part of it, and also what sort of qualification it requires. And again, occupation falls in mainly in 3 groups. We are not considered level D groups, so mainly 3 groups, which is level 1, level 2, level 3 occupation. Generally speaking, again, level 1 occupations require higher education, which is bachelor's, master's, or anything above bachelor's. Level 2 occupations require diploma level qualifications, and level 3 occupations require Cert 3, Certificate 4 occupations, and generally you will, so all these trade occupations, so for example, carpentry, cookery, motor mechanic, fabricators, welders, machinists, generally all these occupations, they all, or tradies we would say, they fall in level 3 occupations which require Cert 3, Cert 4 sort of qualification and fall under vet. Okay? So this is the breakdown. Now, once you establish that, then you go and look into that particular occupation, and then you look into it, what would that occupation would require to get the skill assessment. So once you have narrowed this down, then your problems are sorted out, most of them. And then you can actually give, you can give a right advice to the client. Now, do you guys have a question for this? You don't have any question? So you understand everything?
For level 1 actually, for the bachelor's program, like if you study here, then you'll be able to apply for your TR or PR. Like if you study here.
Now TR, PR, we were not talking about this at all. So that's a completely different story. Studying and then applying for your TR.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to do anything with PR.
Okay.
Actually. If you really look at it.
Okay.
And someone who wants to get their PR, they don't have to study here. They don't have to have a TR here. They can still get their PR as long as they place their cards right and they meet all other criteria. That's not required. So that's a completely, you got to look into, when you look into immigration, okay, and the legislations, studying here, getting TR has nothing to do with the PR. Okay. So we will discuss that matter in a it's a different class, different subject. Okay. And we're not going to mix it here. It doesn't have to do. So what we are talking here is, ask me questions or clear your doubts in regards to how a person get PR. Because if you don't understand how a client will get the PR, you are waste of time for the client. Because when a client is calling us, that's what the client wants. Even the client needs it. Sometimes they don't even know. If somebody is calling us, it is again, wherever they are in their journey. I'll put this from year 12 to PR. They can be anywhere in this journey. Okay? And this is what you need to, when you're going to start asking the questions from year 12 or in fact from year 10, what they've been doing. And doesn't matter when they came to Australia, they are somewhere here, somewhere in between of here when they are giving us a call. So the first step is year 10, year 12, and then they choose some field of studies, which could be anything depending upon, and then eventually this could also be apprenticeship as well. That could be also apprenticeship as well. In some cases they choose apprenticeship rather than be studying, and it could be mix of both the things as well. But eventually this is the initial stage where they are learning, and then they get to the stage where they start working, and they basically generate some experience in the particular field, and then it comes to a stage where they have skill assessment. And once they have a skill assessment, then they look into all different pathways, so how to get their PR. And this is all we are concentrating here on. This is what our client going to come and ask us, and if you can look things just in this way, alright, you would have an answer for the client, otherwise you would not have an answer for the client. So very simple, very straightforward it is. And even, it doesn't matter, if they want to get this skill, if they want to get the skill migration, okay, it's very simple formula, alright? And I'll tell you one thing, a client who will target 186 or what's the other one? 194. A client who will target these two visas from the day one, alright? They are the clients who will have the highest chance to get their permanent residency in Australia. That's the highest, okay? And I'll tell you which clients have the lowest chance to get PR in Australia. The ones who target 189 who live in a dream world and who have a dilemma that they will just get their skill assessment done, they do not need to work there, they are looking for shortcuts. And in my view, they're stupid. They're just looking for shortcuts, something magical will happen, and like for example, if they can study accounting, so once they can finish accounting, get 7 each in English, and they can get their PR. They can basically get their skill assessment, okay? Generally, engineers, any kind of engineers, they don't need work experience. If they've done their BTech, alright, they can get their skill assessments from Engineering Australia. But that's their dilemma. They think that's going to get them the PR. Unless they're not going to work in their related occupation or very closely related, work in the same occupation in which they're going to apply their skill assessment, in my view, it's highly unlikely they will get their PRs. And I think they are also stupid because they are wasting their youth, they are wasting their money, they are wasting their time, and eventually, and also it's not like that, to be very honest, it's not like that they're studying something very stupid and they're working, they're building, they're making space shuttles or rocket science, or they are rocket scientists. There would be either, and no job is big or small, but that's a fact. More than likely they would be either driving Uber or washing dishes in some kitchen. That's the fact of the life. Or be cleaners somewhere. That's what they were doing. It's just they are not smart enough, and that's our job to guide them. We can't teach everybody. We can bring the horse to the water, but we can't get horse drink that water. So there are people whom we can guide, whom we can actually help. And in my view, again, it is highly important. Doesn't matter what you're studying. Doesn't matter. It's life is very long. Most of you are young and life is very long. Once you get a permanent residency, once you get an Australian citizenship, you can study for free. You can study whatever you want to study. And anyways, where we are today in our life, every 10 years we will be changing our careers. And for somebody, like probably it's like there's a book 21 lesson for 21st century. You guys want to listen to it or read it. It's a very good book written by Noah Harari. He's one of the finest historians we got. Okay, so it's a very nice read to understand how we Homo sapiens, especially in the last 500 years, how we have changed, how we are moving, and where we are going to, and how things are moving. And a lot of, with new AI and everything, in 10-15 years, there would be billions of people who the jobs will be wiped off. That's the truth. The ones who are driving Uber, the Uber going to drive in next 10 years by themselves in Australia. I know that. Then we don't have jobs for them. That's a fact of the life. So again, so this is, in my view, the ones who are chasing this has the lowest chance to get PR in Australia. The ones who are chasing this will have higher chance. Now what do we need to chase these visas? We need what? 3 years of work experience in their occupation plus 6 each in English plus positive skill assessment. If somebody day one looks for this goal, that whatever they are studying, doesn't matter what they are studying, if they would have more than 3 years of work experience, if they have 6 each in English and they have positive skill assessment, they have the highest chance because if they really work hard, if they can create value, they would be able to find employers who are willing to sponsor them on these visas, and then they can control their own destiny. If you can understand this, you understand whole skill migration. This is how simple it is. And if you cannot understand this, you cannot understand skill migration. Like then you're just, you're blindly acting. There's no strategy, there's no planning how you're going to get your PR. Okay? And again, there are not many visa surpluses, are there? No. So when we're talking about when you're living in, so if you're living in Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane, then your options are what? For employer sponsorship, I'm talking only permanent visas. 186. Let me change the color. And what? That's, we put it metro. Okay. 186. Then, through EOI, 189, 190. Now, if you're living outside metro, outside metro cities, then what your options are? You have these options outside metro cities as well. So these options are available. 186, 189, 190 are available for all over Australia. But they are also available in metro cities. Alright? Now what other options we have? If somebody is not living in these 3 cities, they have an option for, in my view, the best option is 194. Sorry. That's 494, 491, and then of course they have these other options as well, but then these are the 2 options. And also remember, anything starting from 4, these are work visas. Anything generally starting with number 1, number 8, these are permanent visas. Anything starting with 5, those are student visas. We used to have like a lot of different subclasses in student visas in the past, but now the government has simplified it and it's only subclass 500. And there are actually other subclasses as well. I don't want to go on that now, but yes, this is what it is. Anything starts. So, for example, even like your COVID visa, which is 408, anything starting with 4, your PR visa, what you call it, 485. They're all different kind of work visas. That's why they all start with 4. Okay. Now, in this section, you explain me what you did not understand, or what you understood, and then what I'm gonna do is, I got one headphone, I'm gonna give you another headphone, and we're gonna role play. Either you become a client, or either I become a client. I'll ask you questions, and then we go for it, and then we look into it, how to resolve it. So what? You want to be a client, or you want me to be a client?
I want to be a client.
You want to be a client? Okay, fantastic. All right. Tring, tring. Okay. Yes, ma'am. How can I help you?
Hi, I am Shimal, and I'm looking to migrate.
Yes.
I have my bachelor's in accounting, and I would like to apply for my PR. I have.
Ma'am, just to start with, it's a shit course. What you did, it's highly unlikely you're gonna get your PR doing accounting. Let's pick up some more interesting. All right, a better, maybe something somewhere people are actually getting PR. I can go with accounting as well. It's just not something we put a video onto. Maybe something not engineering as well. All right, there are not many engineers. Maybe something trade. Let's stick to trade. Something easy.
Trade.
Okay, that's where most of the people are getting PR in IT also, but again, it gets a little bit technical in many different ways. So let's start with something easy, like maybe cookery. Okay? So yeah.
So I have done my certificate 4 in cookery.
Fantastic. So what visa are you currently on? Let's start with here.
Student visa.
You're on student visa. Oh, fantastic. When did you came to Australia?
3 years ago.
Okay, 3 years ago. So you came here 3 years ago. You finished your Cert 3. I am anticipating you came here on some other, because Cert 3. You finished your Cert 4. So did you finish Cert 3 before that, or you straight away did Cert 4?
Finished and done.
Okay, so it's been 3 years. What did you study before that? Because these courses generally not take more than 2 years.
Yeah, I did the certificate 3 and then certificate
4. Okay, so we assume you finished that in 3 years. All right.
Yeah.
And when does your student visa is running out?
Next month.
Fantastic. And what do you do for work?
I am a chef.
So you're working in a kitchen.
Yeah.
That's very good. How long have you been working in a kitchen?
1 year.
Oh, so you're learning it, and you're not really a chef. Maybe we can call you a Komi 3. Okay? Or maybe Komi 2. But not a chef yet. Okay. Now, so you've been working in a kitchen. Now, so I'm assuming you have more than 360 hours of work experience working in a kitchen. Do you know anything about Job Ready program?
No.
Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to get you enrolled in the Job Ready program with TRA. Now, what Job Ready program means is that yes, I know your occupation as a chef falls in the group. Falls in your occupation.
Yeah.
Falls in the group. If you wear your headphones, the voice will cut. That's the whole reason why you got them. All right, it's recording. Audience will be listening. Thank you. Okay. So if you do so we're gonna get you Job Ready program. I think it's for 1760 hours. We can quickly check at it. I don't want to get it wrong. So it's called JRP program. And if you go there, it has different steps to it, and look at the eligibility. So initially, the step 1, which is registration. So you would need to, from 1st of July, you would need to get, if you want to get your 485 or your TR through this pathway, so you would need to enroll for JRP, and that's the initial registration. For the initial registration, you need 360 hours of work experience, and this is just not applies to chefs, so it's pretty much applies to all trade occupations, okay, or I would say all wet level occupations. And And there's a list as well. So again, we're going with the eligibility part of it, of JRP first step, which is, as you can see here, to apply job ready program registration, blah blah blah. A current and valid passport, has an international student visa or studied in Australia, and Australian qualification directly relevant to the occupation you are applying for. This qualification must be a registered training RTO on a Commonwealth Bank registered this over the cry course. So you should have been studying full time cry course, 96 weeks at least. So then only you can get this done. All right. So that's the first step. Now once you have gone through this, what you do is, I'm just jumping back, give me a sec. Eligibility, ready for employment. Now when you're ready for employment, you work with your employer, okay? And where is it? Okay, so there we go. You have successfully completed the JRPRE. 4 months or less remaining on a student visa. So this is again, they are talking about registering here. Let me go take you to the next step where they would do your job ready workplace assessment. So now job ready workplace assessment. Okay. See, this is not just a change. I just looked into this as well. It used to be, let me have a quick look here. I just want to make sure things are, because it used to be 1700 and something hours before. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, that's the middle assessment, that's the final assessment. Now here it would be, okay? So this is how it works. So they will do your middle assessment, which is what we done at 853 hours. This is here. If I jump here, look at the eligibility. So once you have enrolled, you have to work for 1 year, then proof of paid employment in your occupation for 863 hours over at least 6 months from your JRE start date. A skill progress report, an employment verification report for each registered employer. Your employer must sign your EVR to confirm they agree to have a JRWA done at their workplace. So this happens in the middle of it, and then by end of it, when we jump to the next stage, which is this one, then you have to finish your, give me 1 second. I can open it from here as well. Okay, so if you come here, okay. No, we are still at the same. Give me 1 second. Eligibility, final assessment. Okay, here we are. Okay. So here is the final assessment. TRA will email you when records show you are eligible for your JRFA, which is Job Ready Workplace Assessment. Completed all requirements of job ready employment, including proof of paid employment of 1725 hours in 12 months of time, and then you get your full skill assessment once you finish that. So you got to finish this in those 18 months, and then you get your full skill assessment. Once you have a full skill assessment, then depending upon how many years of work experience do you have, under which, where does your occupation fall? Does it fall in a medium to long term list or short term list? Depending upon that, you will be applying for different visas or try to apply for different visas. But this is the basics. So if you're doing this is what you need to do. This is how you get your skill assessment done. Why I took this as an example, because I think this is still a little bit more complicated, and students really have a very small window. But again, I still think it is one of the most easiest occupations, because you can get a job in a kitchen, come on, basic. Alright, anybody can get a job in the kitchen, and again, don't take me right or wrong, unemployment rate is just still, we are in the lowest unemployment rate in record last for 40, 50 years or 30 years, whatever. So, they're less than, 4% people who are unemployed still. So, yeah, you really got to be an idiot not to find a job in Australia, to be very honest with you. Okay, so yeah, that's what it is. So that's all it is in terms of how the skill assessment job ready, and this is again coming back to these visas, alright, how you get your skill migration, how you get your permanent residency. If you keep it simple, it will be easier. you look into these steps, the way you look into it, and then you categorically or ask these questions from the client, understand where they are, what they want to achieve, and how they're going to achieve, and then we can make it easier and we can explain them. And always whatever they're asking, you can always jump into the things and find like what exactly. So for example, if you go and check on the government website as well as and check the occupation, it will exactly tell you what visas are eligible to apply for. Alright? So yeah, Govind, do you have any questions?
Okay.
Not yet? Good. Alright. Can we close the video and then maybe we'll do something different? But I think for the video purpose, this is enough. Aditi, कैसी का?